Well, good evening. How are you all today? Welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I want to talk about rebels, rebellion, and rebel nights tonight. I don't usually make them in the evening, but I just got back from the city. I went down into the city. Haven't been down in the city in a long time. I love the city. I love the energy. I love the danger. I love everything. It's like going into a jungle, and everything heightens. It's not for everybody, but I like it. Always liked it. Um, the skills you need to survive and do well in a city are special skills, probably well to be developed by everyone who wants to be truly prepared. But I get it; it's not everybody's thing. So I went down there uh, because there was a rebel nights being held at a bar, actually at a distillery called Restless Spirits in North Kansas City, and Rob Gavin, the great Irish rebel singer, was performing. I love him. I hadn't heard him for years. Haven't seen him in a long time, but he let me know that he was down there, and so I went down and loved it. Had a great time. He sings all of the Irish rebel songs. If you're not familiar with Irish rebel songs, or you're not familiar with the Irish Rebellion, or you're not familiar with uh, the oppression of Ireland by England, Britain for 800 years, you should be. I've mentioned this many times, probably just on the Patreon channel. There are many lessons there, and lessons that people would be well advised to know and to learn. It's about living under oppression. You know, the last 4 or 5 years we've had a lot of noise about people saying we need to rise up and we're living under oppression, and we have been living under oppression. But we've had a lot of tough talk, and talk and tough are rarely the same. You don't usually find tough and talk in the same package because they're very different. Some understand what I'm saying. And we've had a lot of tough talk. We need to rise up. We need to do this. We need to do that. And some of it's still going on, by the complainers and the whiners. Well, things are bad and things are horrible and it may look good, but things are bad, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to get on that horse today. Probably get back on it tomorrow. But Ireland was a country that has been oppressed for 800 years, and people who have withstood it and stood up against it and rebelled against it. And that's why I've always been interested. I used to teach Irish history and Irish mythology, and I taught an Irish martial art, and I belonged to a couple of Irish organizations. And the singer, he and I belonged to one of the same Irish organizations whose name I won't mention on here. So I went down there to have a good time, and did have a good time. And then I saw another guy, another old friend of mine, who was also in that Irish organization, whose name will not be mentioned, and had a great time. We reminisced. I had some kind of, they didn't have stout because it's really a whiskey distillery, but they had some kind of black walnut beer or something. It was pretty good. We had a good time reminiscing about things that we'd done in Belfast and Derry and Dublin and other places in Ireland, and listening to the rebel songs. And it brought back so many truths and so many memories to me. I got to talking to one of the guys, the friend that I ran into, introduced me to the head distiller there, and I'm gonna come back to some lessons here, and I'm gonna put up a song on the Patreon channel. I don't put them up on YouTube. I don't put links on YouTube here, but I'm gonna put up the song, one of the songs that Rob Gavin sang, and it was the Ballad of Billy Reed, and it's a great song, as all of the rebel songs are. And one of our guys on the Patreon side goes by the handle of the Banshee, and the Banshee knows Rob Gavin, And so Banshee, I'm going to ask, because Rob told a story there, and if you know it, put it down, that he ran into, did he say that he ran into Billy Reed's, some relatives of Billy Reed's one time when he was singing. I don't remember what the story is, but I would love to hear it again. It was kind of loud in there, and I couldn't hear it. You know, too many loud noises without ear protection through my life. But if you happen to see this, remind me of the story over there on Patreon. So as I was introduced to I'll tell you an interesting story here. Usually this stuff, like I say, is reserved for Patreon, but the people on YouTube are you get a taste of it today. And the bartendress, a woman, the barmaid, was giving us samples of Padraig's Rebellion Poachine. I wasn't familiar with the name Poachine. And met the head distiller, Connor McNeese, and we talked quite a bit. And I said, well, what does that mean, Poachine? He says, it means little pot. And this is the forerunner. This I said, well, it looks like shine to me. He says, well, that's what it is, Irish moonshine. It's 57. No, it's 115 proof. Not as bad as Everclear, right? But 115 proof. I'll read a little bit on the back if I can make it out in this light. But it's Padraig's Rebellion Poachine. As you can see it is distilled in in Kansas City, and so I bought a bottle from them because it is just too cool. It is the forefather of Appalachian moonshine, and I had cousins that were still running shine down in East Tennessee as of 40 years ago. I haven't seen them since about then. They're probably either dead or in prison or something by now. Let me read you a little bit on the back. Now, Padraig Pearse was a hero of the Irish Rebellion, the Easter Uprising, if you all are familiar with the Easter Rising. Yeah, all this has to do with, you may not be interested, this has to do with preparedness, being prepared, being able to stand against oppression. Okay? A lot of people out there talk about this stuff. Like I said the other day, be careful who you listen to. Listen to somebody who actually knows something, not just people who want to act like it. So I'll read what they say on the back of this. In case you'd like to buy it, you might be able to get a hold of them and get some Irish shine. Padraig Pearse was a school teacher. I know all this stuff because I used to teach this stuff, but I'm going to read what they have on the bottle here. Padraig Pearse was a school teacher and a poet who helped lead the Irish Rebellion against the Crown in 1916 in the heart of Dublin. And I tell you, that's for anybody who's been over there and knows anything about it, the post office, those are great things to see. To honor him, probably a lot of you saw the movie Michael Collins. Most of that was BS, but some of it's true. To honor him, we crafted a flavorful spirit that proves powerful punches can come from unexpected places. Padraig's Rebellion Poachine is crafted in Kansas City from 4 varieties of malt, then triple distilled in traditional copper pot stills. And I don't know if I said this or not, but I asked Connor, I said, what does poachine mean? I'm not familiar with that. And he said, well, it means a little pot. So how about that? So what does all of this have to do with preparedness? It has to do with being prepared to stand up against forces that want to destroy you. You know, and every day I see videos from people warning about they're trying to do this to you, and they're trying to do that to you, and they're trying to do this, and they're trying to do that. Well, they are. They are. Sure. You can say that it's the globalists. You can say that it's the WEF. You can say that it's the Illuminati. You can say that it's whatever it is. And maybe it's all of them put together. Maybe they all have a meeting in one of their kitchens every day and decide what they're going to try to do to everybody. There's so many layers there. It may be fun to talk about, but that's the problem. And I've said this before. When people get to talking about that, that's all they do. It's all they do. I don't hear any great thing. I hear daily complaining. They're trying to do this to you. Well, you see, the lesson of the Irish and the oppression of the Irish by the English and the Irish resistance and rebellion is that they actually did something. And they continue to do something for 800 years. One of the guy that I ran into, we reminisced, like I said, about things that had happened or things we'd done in Belfast and Derry and all that. And he was with me when the RUC, or was it the PSNI? I forget what time. RUC means Royal Ulster Constabulary. It's the British. See, the British have what they call Northern Ireland. It's an occupied territory, essentially. I won't go into the whole history of it. And if I have any Irish people, occasionally I'll get somebody on here and tell me that I'm a horrible person, or I don't know what I'm talking about. Yes, I know exactly what I'm talking about. I know exactly what I'm talking about, pal. But the Royal Ulster Constabulary was the Queen's Police. They're in Northern Ireland, and they changed it to PSNI, Police Service of Northern Ireland. So I don't know if these guys, I forget what year it was. So I think it was PSNI actually. But we were walking back from a meeting with the Lord Mayor of Belfast, and actually we were walking to a place, and Jerry Adams' former bodyguard was with us. And I saw a PSNI car over there at the road kind of harassing some people. And so I slipped a camera out of my pocket and I took a picture of them. And man, I tell you, it wasn't 30 seconds later. They were in their car, their little car, little, and hopped a curb close to me, slammed on the brakes, got out of their cars. And the British always send their biggest cops to Northern Ireland, because the Irish are not particularly a tall people, and they like the British, or they like to try to intimidate people, and they hopped out of their car and they came through the crowd, and they came over to me and, sir, did you just take a picture of the police vehicle? And I said, yeah, I did. Well, do you I don't forget what they said, but the one thing that, why are you doing that? We need to see your camera and all this. And the one thing that I remember, I didn't know if they were going to take me in or what. And, but I knew it was going to be a good, I won't say good experience, I'll say interesting experience. And finally they looked through all the pictures that I had on there. And they finally said something I've never heard a cop in my life say. Well, we don't believe that there's anything sinister on this. Sinister. So they gave me they deleted the picture of their police car, national security, and gave me my camera back, and we went on our way and went to the pub. The lesson here is, and I've already lost 90% of the people. That's okay. I'm not talking to 90%. I'm talking to the 10% who want to learn something. It's not about beans and rice. It's not about Band-Aids. It's not about guns and ammo. See, actually, it could be about guns and ammo. These people actually used them. They just didn't. I'm gonna. You better not, right? We'll rise up. You see, these people actually did rise up. And they rose up for 800 years. And I like people. Now, I parted ways with certain people over there because, to be real honest, they have some socialist leanings, and that's not me. I'm a capitalist to the bone. But I understand why they did it, because it's one of those, the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of thing, right? Okay, I won't get into that. So what's the lesson, Steve? Well, the lesson is there's talk and there's doing. And usually the more you talk, the less you're doing. Well, you're talking, Steve. Does that mean you're not doing anything? No, I come on here, for a few minutes a day to talk and pass on some knowledge, some lessons, and some things that I think might be helpful to people out there. Talk's okay when you're trying to help people or when you're trying to communicate. But when you're just bloviating, when you're talking instead of doing, you're not doing. You're not doing anything. So, the lesson here is a little less talk and a lot more action when it comes to preparing, okay? Preparing for whatever. Whatever. And how do you prepare for whatever? You prepare for everything, and you do it every day. So anyway, did I already mention this? Banshee, if you happen, because I know you know Rob Gavin, if you know the story about the Ballad of Billy Reed and him meeting some people in their family, if I got that right, like I said, I was very interesting, and I meant to ask him about it, but I didn't. Pass it on to us if you would, and I'd appreciate that. And I actually asked Rob, because he knows about the channel, and we talked about maybe him coming to the annual get-together in October, and maybe singing some rebel songs for the Stone Mount Integrative Preparedness annual gathering. So we will see about that. So that's my message for the night. Okay. Rebel when it's important. And do instead of talk. Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.